tons of blokes going out there now watching number 3. We're going to make them pay for 3 and 4.
You're right. That's the only explanation. You're totally right. Don't know why I didn't think of that. Oh God. And mate, I had a ball, especially with the second one, which is the worst of the two, but still, I was laughing so much at some of the scenes of these kids escaping from this mine, and like bowling over these like 6'5" giant guards, and oh man, just losing my mind. There was some such unnecessary scenes in there. They're just so fun, and it's bad, but in a good way sometimes, you know. So I still need to get the third one. I've watched half of Diamonds Are Forever the other day. Still need to finish it, mate. I enjoyed it. You know, dude. He's far too old.
Yeah.
This is the last Sean Connery, right?
Correct.
Or has he got another one? Yeah, this is the last one.
This is the one where he came
back. Live and Let Die, right?
Correct. Yeah. Now we're talking.
And that's
a film.
And that's Roger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best Roger.
The best Roger. Cool. I'm looking forward to that. It's a long one as well. It's like 2 hours, just under 2 hours.
2 hours too long.
Hey, listen. I'm having a ball. I was laughing. I was also enjoying the fighting, but laughing mostly. I was mentioning this to the missus. They cranked the like sex factor of this film up a lot. I don't know if you recognise that, but like there's a lot more boobs. There's a lot more ass. Like just half naked women everywhere. And like, obviously, there's always been that in James Bond, but this one just hit me more. Basically, like they upped it. I don't know if the age is different to the others.
No, I don't think so. I think it was just what is it now? It's the very late 60s, isn't it? It's like 69, perhaps. Because I know Live and Let Die is like 61 or 63, something like that. Anyway, it's that era where it was like Carry On films. And just everyone just thought it was a great idea just to have really buxom ladies like trotting around wearing very little, you know, that sort of like very cheesy, family-friendly nudity. Do you know if that's a thing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just the era, and it's just the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
like
a great
Austin
line.
Powers.
Oh, sorry. Austin Powers has taken so much from that film.
Yeah.
Like, the sort of henchman at the beginning with Blofeld in that like cloning thing with all the slime, and they've got those like helmets with the lightning bolt on, you know. And it's like, oh yeah, that's literally been taken from that film Austin. Into Austin. It's perfect. Anyway, I was still enjoying it, but yeah, they definitely cranked that up. What was I going to say? I can't remember now. Oh yeah, there was a great scene between him and M actually, where he gets given a sherry, and he tastes it, and like,
don't start.
And he's like, just 41 vintage, and he's like, Bond sherry doesn't have a vintage. He's like, I was talking about that anyway. He just like shows M up basically.
He was talking about the wine on which it was based or something, wasn't he? Like, you can tell the bloody vintage from that. It's the most ridiculous. Oh God.
Yeah,
so makes a mockery of Bond.
And like M and him are like bickering this entire like briefing of his mission. Like they're just bickering throughout. Like, oh, I'm glad there's one thing that you don't know, Bond. Like anyway, it's just like, oh man,
I'm going for a lover spat, weren't they at that time?
I think so. Yeah. Gosh, good stuff.
So,
what about you, mate?
I watched a film called Breakdown the other day. I sent you a text at the time because it was so good, right? I don't know whether did you have a chance to watch it?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I've already convinced the missus.
Sweet.
The sort of mystery murder angle, missing person angles helped me a lot there.
Oh, mate, big time. It's like, you know, just because I know your two's tastes in films, that sort of thing. Like, it is smack bang in the middle. It's so good. For anyone that's not seen it, Breakdown, it's got Kurt Russell. It's like, I think it's 97 or 98. This well-to-do couple traveling through the desert. They're somewhere like New Mexico or Arizona or something. They're on their way to a new life in San Diego. Their fancy 4x4 breaks down in the middle of nowhere in the desert. And basically, this trucker helps them out, and the wife of the couple goes with this trucker to the local diner or whatever to call for a pickup truck, basically. So they separate. The couple separate. Bloke stays with his fancy car because he doesn't want it to get trashed. And the wife goes off. Basically, long story short, the wife goes missing. Kurt Russell then has to spend the rest of the film trying to find his wife in the middle of the desert. Right, and it's very sort of like desperate. Like the desperation in the film is massive, particularly at the start before you realise what's gone on. There's sort of a little bit of a twist in the middle, but it's like the film is summed up by the desert because he's in the middle of nowhere. He's got no friends. He doesn't know what to do. His phone's dead. His car's dead. All this sort of thing. No one's helping him. It's
by
amazing.
the looks of it, it's like one of those roads where it says like fill up now because there's not another gas station for like 100 miles or whatever. And it's like if you don't fill up now, if you break down, like you're on your own. You know, it's because in America there are plenty of roads just like that.
Yeah, it's like take a boot full of water because you need you need water and food and stuff and a tent in case you break down, sort of thing. But yeah, mate, it's such a good film. So it starts off very sort of like the thinking angle, like psychological thriller. You know, you don't know what's going on, and then sort of halfway through, it sort of flips a little bit into a traditional action film. You know, shooting and people getting dragged out of the boots of cars and that sort of thing, you know, like traditional bloke action film. So, yeah, it's a thinking man's action film. So I was gripped right the way to the end. There's a little bit of cheesy stuff going on, obviously, because it's a 90s action film. But if you can stomach that, which I'm sure most blokes can, it's well worth a watch. I was gripped the whole way through.
Great. Fantastic. Yeah, no, it's on the list. It's on the list. Free. Can't go better than that. Actually, you've reminded me now of another film that I watched that I definitely need to recommend to people listening is Mercury Rising.
Oh, yeah. Willis.
Yeah. Willis at his best. And I was talking about Willis last week and I didn't mention this film. I listed off a load of other films that I love, but this is one I'd forgotten about and I rewatched it last night or the night before. So good. It's just in his prime as well.
Yeah, he looks great, doesn't he?
He looks
Mid-90s,
great.
Isn't it,
exactly. He's played the same character in almost every single film he's in, and I want more of that character. You know,
it's the sign of a good actor.
Yeah, I think so. Just stick to what you know.
Yeah,
stick
don't
to what
muck
you know.
about.
Don't mess about now. Come on. Yeah, I fully recommend it. It's got this kid actor who actually does a amazing job of playing like a very autistic kid. Very tasteful job of doing that. But in like a very smart, mathematically, like kind of like
he's a genius kid, isn't he? Sort of
a genius kid, exactly. Yeah. What's the film with Tom? Oh, Christ, what's his
Tom
surname?
Cruise.
Tom Cruise, yeah.
Rain
I've
Man.
just forgotten Tom Cruise's surname. Yeah, Rain Man, nice one. Anyway, it's like that kind of autistic, like very smart, amazing at maths, and but terrible social skills. Yeah. But this kid just nails it, and he does such a good job of playing it. He's in a few other films, but I don't think he's like an adult actor now. But anyway, he does a really good job, and he sort of cracks this government code, basically, and it's... Willis is the cop that sort of looks after him whilst the government is trying to sort of silence this kid, effectively. And another actor that, you know, probably hasn't aged a bit and is actually a really good villain or any sort of like side character in an action film is... I've forgotten his name as well now. Going forward, I can't... Don't let me talk about celebrities. We'll cut this out. Jesus Christ.
That's why people tune in to try and get you to remember stuff.
For this second, oh Jesus, he's in 30 Rock. Are you
on
Baldwin.
about Alec Baldwin?
Alec Baldwin,
yeah.
Good.
Nice.
I don't want him as a main character, but I want him on the side.
Yes.
I want him like the logistical side guy that's helping the main character out in every single action film. He's perfect for it.
Nice.
And he was a pretty good baddie in this as well. Anyway, I'll stop talking about it now. But yeah, great film.
Man, yeah. Baldwin, he plays a good government agent, doesn't he?
It's perfect. Looks good in a suit. He hasn't aged in 40 years, I think.
He plays two roles, I find, Alec Baldwin. He plays the sort of slightly evil government agent, right, like in Mercury Rising, or he plays a sort of... husband from a husband and wife duo and he's like a wealthy architect or something going through some like family trouble in a more light-hearted role. Like there is two roles: architect, you're right. CIA villain.
Absolutely. Oh man,
You know what? In fact, you saying that sort of like side character that was in a lot of 90s movies immediately brought to mind John Lithgow. Do you know him?
I just need to see his face.
Yeah, do a quick Google. You'll immediately know him. He plays a great villain. In fact, he played Churchill in, I think, was it Darkest Hour? Or was it one of the recent Churchill films? Would have been the other one then, the one that's called Churchill.
Yeah, Darkest Hour was Gary Oldman, wasn't it?
Okay, I've seen both of them, but I get the names mixed up. So he played Churchill in the other one. But he plays the villain in Cliffhanger. Have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
Stallone,
yes.
Right?
Yep.
So this is one of my favourite Stallone films, and I'm on a bit of a Stallone vibe at the moment. I'm rewatching loads of Stallone films. He's so good, man. But Cliffhanger, that opening scene, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it's one of the best opening scenes of any film ever. I'm going to plant my flag in the sand there. Like, regardless of genre, the opening scene of this thing is so good. And even though I know what happens, it gets me every single time. I'm just like on the edge of my seat, like digging my nails in. Like, it's so good. So yeah, if you're new to Stallone, in fact, I've been having a few sort of like semi arguments with Superfan Pete recently about Stallone versus Schwarzenegger, and he's a massive Schwarzenegger fan, but he's hardly seen any Stallone films, right? And I'm like, okay, that's fine, but like he's actively against Stallone from the sound of his texts, you know. And I'm like, surely if you like one, you like the other. They're like, they're not. You don't have to pick one. You can like both, you know. So Pete, I expect a call immediately, mate, where we can discuss this. But mate, give Stallone a go. If you're a big Schwarzenegger fan, you're going to love Stallone. You know, they're one and the same almost.
They really are. They really are. There's still massive gaps in my Stallone knowledge. So I definitely need to work. Like, so for example, Rambo is one I still haven't caught up on the Rambos.
Mate, I watched
what's another one?
Rocky
as well. That's one I've got a big gap in my knowledge with. Rocky and Rambo, the two big ones that I need to sort my life out and just watch them.
Yeah, binge them, mate. And in fact, you know what we should do? I heard about a thing called Netflix Party? Or like Netflix Watch Along or something. Apparently there's an app where you can kind of sync your Netflix up, where you can you watch a film together but separately, obviously physically separate, different houses. Yeah. But you sort of sync your programs at the same time.
Amazing.
So that you can have Zoom open and we can like, why don't we watch Rocky or Rambo or something and like perhaps record us. And obviously we'll edit we'll cut it up so you don't have to listen to the whole of Rambo First Blood on the podcast. Yeah. But, you know, if we come up with any funny observations, we'll cut them up together and make a little podcast out of it. How about that?
100%. Let's 100% do that. That's a great idea. Good job. Nice. We'll put that on the list of things we'll never do, but we will do this one.
Oh, mate. The thing is, I often think about the stuff, you know, like the Churchill Day that we talked about last week. And I'm so psyched for doing that. We just can't physically do these things that we're coming out with. Like, you know, as soon as it's legal, we'll do it. Don't worry.
That's true, actually. Yeah, you know what? To be fair, I'm giving us a hard time, but we started this in lockdown and we've never really fully left it, have we? So
yeah, exactly.
For sure, yeah. You're right. Well, whenever this ends, instantly got sad talking about that. Whenever this ends, whatever it is, we'll figure that out.
Yeah. Shall we ramp it up a little bit?
Let's ramp it up. Yeah.
Cool, man. Do you want to go first? Because I went first with the beers.
Let's do it. Okay. So this is a good one. I have got a bottle of Auchentoshan 12-year-old.
Nice.
Now, I got this for Christmas, and I hadn't ever had an Auchentoshan up until this point, and I've always known about it. So this is the distillery in Glasgow. A couple of cool things about it. Well, actually, the one main cool thing about it is it's the only Scotch that is triple distilled.
Oh, right.
So
like vodka.
Like Irish whiskey, like a lot of spirits, yeah. So Scotch is famously one of the few whiskies, actually. I think bourbon's probably triple distilled as well, actually. But Scotch is one of the few that only distills twice. And they used to have it plastered all over the bottles. So like that was like their USP, right? That they were the only Scotch that was triple distilled. But the problem is, people tend to look at triple distillation as like a your spirit's so crap you have to distill it 3 times to make it palatable, basically. Right.
Okay.
So that's this classic thing. Like